you? Welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a few more things. If you are wanting to craft along with me tonight, you do need some guest checks. I would grab some ephemera, maybe some stamps. We're going to do a couple of different things. So I kind of grabbed quite a few things here. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to use, but we're going to have some fun. So I hope everybody is having a great Sunday evening. I definitely need to organize my little ephemera box that we've been working out of. So we'll set that right here. I have some napkins. We're going to do some more play with napkins next week on our Sunday Night Live. But I did want to grab some so we could use a little bit of napkins. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Luann. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Okay. So I'm just going to get out a few things while we're waiting. You don't need a lot for this project. You need some guest checks. And you're going to need some adhesive. I like to use just plain old permanent Elmer's glue. And then if it's something I'm going to sew, I'll use washable school glue. So nothing special about that. Oh, I'm glad you love to watch, Michelle. So you just need some glue, some scissors. And I have one of these brushes, and we're going to use it. I've seen a lot of crafters using this brush. It's a makeup blending brush, and I actually got it at the Dollar Tree. But a lot of the ladies who are out there crafting with these are buying packages of them on Amazon. But this one I found at the Dollar Tree, so we're going to give it a shot. I grabbed a stapler just in case we need it. We're going to use Distress ink. I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. Hi, Erica. Welcome. So glad to see you. How's that grandbaby? Sorry for moving the camera, guys. I hope the lighting is good. Is it a little too bright? I have a brand new lighting system. So excited that I got from Christmas. And let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm going to leave it bright. It's shining off of here. It's reflecting off of here a little bit, but we'll move those up. All right. And so I just have a little bin here. And actually, maybe I should show you what this bin looks like. When I'm getting ready to do a project, and I know some of you have seen me do this before, but for those of you who are new to my channel, if I'm going to do a project, so as you know, each week I am doing a new video on Sunday, and they're craft with me videos. So throughout the week, what I do is I kind of gather my items in this basket, and this basket is just from the Dollar Tree. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about this because a lot of you are saying, you know, I don't have time to craft. I don't know how I'm going to find time to do it. Well, you can do this. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Emma. Welcome, welcome. You can do this by being a little more organized. And I do that this way. So first of all, something that always stays in this bin for me is, see, you guys just thought you were getting a craft with me lesson today. You didn't know you were getting all this other stuff. Okay, so my staples that stay in this bin are, and my pencils over here. So usually, okay, it's kind of got a little messy because I was messing it today. Okay, so usually my Distress ink with my dauber, I always leave over here. I then leave my cup with my scissors. Now I usually only leave one pair in here. You can see my parents' dog chewed the end of these. So mad about that. But anyway, I usually only leave one pair in there. These have kind of been my new favorites. They're the same, except these ones are the Teresa Collins edition, and then these ones are a little bit newer. So for fabric and things like that. So I just leave those in there, just like that. I leave my Fiskar cutter in here, and I usually have it going this way. Okay. So when I'm all done tonight, and then sometimes I leave the stapler in, sometimes I don't. Depends on the project. So this is what my basket looks like at the end of Sunday. When I'm done with all of my tutorials with you guys, this is what it looks like. And then throughout the week, I, of course, have my schedule. So here's my schedule as to what I'm going to be doing. And I then start looking at what will be next week. So let's pretend that I'm getting ready for tonight. So then I go, okay, it's going to be guest checks. So I need to put my guest checks in there. So I throw my guest checks in there. And then I throw my ephemera basket in. And then I think about throughout the week, like, okay, so I'm set. So at the end of tonight, if this was for next week, I would be all set. Okay. So I'll do the same thing when we're done with the video tonight. I'll get ready for napkin fun next Sunday in this basket, and it'll be all set. So then throughout the week, what I do is I start, first of all, looking in my ephemera stash to see what I have. And these were the only guest checks that I had left. They were Christmas guest checks. So these are stamped on. So they have little corner tucks. And they're cute, but it's not Christmas time. So I then take and put my samples in here, and I usually will put them right next to the cup. So then I say to myself, well, I need to make 3 or 4 samples so I can take my picture for my video. And so I, throughout the week, will try to make 1 or 2 a night so that I have them ready. So these are the ones that I made, and these are the ones that we're going to talk about today. So these are just simple guest checks. This is a stamped image that one of my friends gave me. It might even have been Erica. Oh, she's next to you, sound asleep. And so then this one is just a napkin with a piece of ephemera and some fabric. And then this one, I wanted to amp up a little bit, and I wanted to do a little sewn pocket. Okay, so then I just get those ready throughout the week, and I just slide them in here. Then usually Friday night or Saturday night, I'll say to myself, okay, is there anything else you want to use in here? And I have these Tim Holtz stamps that I've hardly used. So I said, you know what? I'm going to throw those in the back in case we want to stamp some things. And then I'm going to grab a few napkins. And all I did is grab some napkins out of my scraps. These are ones that I've already used. And I decided, you know what, I'll grab some napkins because we're going to do napkin fun next week too. And so I'm just going to grab some of these. And so I take these napkins, I lift up my guest checks, and I lay them in the bottom. And then I usually keep my Fabri-Tac on my desk because I use it a lot throughout the week. But then I'll grab my Fabri-Tac just before going online, grab my stapler, put it in there, and then this is just another stamp. And so then I have this bin all set. So I'm not sure if that's helpful or not. Oh, people are saying it's buffering. Are we still buffering, guys? Oh, no. Is anybody else having problems with the buffering? You may want to go out and come back in. Nina, how are you? I haven't talked to you in ages. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, if you're buffering, you might want to go out and come back in. Okay, all right. It's just some of us. Okay. All right. So is this helpful? This is also helpful if you want to do some crafting during the week. So if you say, okay, you know what, Rachel did a craft with me on Sunday and I'm going to work all week to do this. You know, I'm going to work all week to get some ephemera done. Get a basket. These are $1 at the Dollar Tree. And they fit a lot of stuff. This is something I can carry out to the couch with me if I want to, work out there. If my husband and my daughter are working, sometimes when my daughter's working on homework at the table, I will just grab this basket and I'll sit next to her and I'll just work. I'm feeling a little better, Erica. I'm not 100%, but I'm feeling better. Yeah, I appreciate that. So for those of you who know me, I'm constantly busy, I can't stop, and I get sick. And when I get sick, I'm just down and out. So I had the flu, but I'm here. I'm ready. Did a live last night and ready to do our craft with me tonight. I am going to be doing on my YouTube channel. I was supposed to do it on Tuesday, but I'm going to move it to Wednesday just because Tuesday's not a good day for me this week. But I'll be doing a live Wednesday night as well. But get yourself a basket, run to the Dollar Tree for $1. This is your basket. So you guys know that I do my YouTube channel on Sunday nights, and then my Facebook channel I've been doing on Tuesday nights. So I have another basket just like this one for my Tuesday nights, and that has paint stuff in it. So I organize that so I'm ready to go, and those just sit on my counter so that I don't have to be freaked out about, you know, forgetting something. Okay. So anyway, that was a lot in 12 minutes, but I wanted to give you guys some tips. So then what I usually do is I'll just pull my little bins out, the things that I need, and we'll get started. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my ink dauber ready. I'm going to set it right on top. This is just one of those Dollar Tree cutting mats. And it's like a, what do you call it? Cutting board. But I like them. You get 2 in a package because when I get them all nasty and gross, then I just throw them away. Unfortunately, I can't recycle them, but it takes a long time before I throw these away. But you can cut on them. You can do a lot of different things, and you get two for $1. So they're a great deal. Where do I get my guest checks? My guest checks, I do sell these particular ones in my shop. These guest checks that I get, I order from a wholesaler, so it's not something you can get. I buy them in huge cases. But you can look around. There are places that have them. Gordon's has them. Sometimes your big box stores will have them, like Meijer's and Walmart or places like that. But go to like a Gordon Foods or a Costco's or something like that, and you'll be able to get them. I like these because you're going to hear these are heavy weight. And that's why I order them, because they just hold up a lot nicer than some of the other ones. A lot of them are just paperweight, and that's fine. They work fine too, but I like to make pockets and things out of mine, so that's why I like them a little heavier. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show you is just before we got online, I grabbed my spray box, and I also distressed some, and I did some spraying. Okay, so I want to show you, you can make them tea-dyed. So mine are kind of a green color. Oh, it's a little bright. Let me just adjust this just a smidge. Oops. So this is a tea stained one, and I use that technique. If you saw my video on my Facebook channel, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I showed you a quick and easy way on how to do some tea staining. So this is my spray box, you guys. And look, it's so crazy. Look, it even says spray box. All it is an Amazon Prime box that I cut down to about 3.5 inches tall. You need a box that you can fit 11.5 by 12 piece of paper in there. And I store all of my stencils right on top. And here's all my overspray papers. So when I'm using my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, because I'll use these in mixed media pieces, but I just leave them in there. So I want to show you, I'm not going to go over how I made this. You can head over to my Facebook page, which is Super Cute Creations. Yeah, the pink guest checks are nice too. I love them. The only thing I don't like about those, Nina, is they're thin. Maybe yours are a little thicker than the ones I have, but the ones that I have are thin. And I don't know. I do too much water and stuff on mine to have them that thin. You can get pink ones on Amazon. Okay, so my special mixture of coffee is in here. Like I said, I just put my Facebook channel in the feed, so you're welcome to head over there and subscribe and check that video out. And then all I do is flip them over. And in about a minute, this one will be ready to go. It'll be all dry. Okay, so I'm just going to set this over to the side to dry. I want to show you with some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. Let's just Glimmer Mist a couple of them. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a semi-blank piece of paper here. And I'm going to lay 2 guest checks in here. And I'm going to grab a stencil. This stencil is big enough to cover both. And we're going to grab some Tattered Angels. So Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist is really cool. I'm going to let you guys pick the colors. What colors do you want me to use? Tell me some colors that you'd like to see. Let's get some interaction. What colors do you want to see? And we're going to make a couple of guest checks. Okay, we want some red. So I'll grab the closest color I have to red. So I've got some red right here. It's a little corally red, but it's gorgeous. So we'll do one with some of this red. And then let's see. We want light pink, blue. So let's get some of this pink. Look at how, whoops, look, sorry guys. I have a totally different setup if you haven't noticed. I have a new setup today, so I've got to get used to it. We'll do some light green. And let's do this light blue. Actually, I want to do this light blue. Okay, so Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, when it sets for a long time, it sets towards the bottom. What you don't want to do is you don't want to shake it up and down. You want to just shake it side to side, get the mica moving. If you shake it up and down, it can clog your nozzle. So I'm just shaking it side to side. Okay, so I'm going to add some yellow or some gold. Emma, we're going to do some red and gold on this one. So we'll spray this one first, and we'll do 2 different ones. How's that sound? Okay. All right, so we're going to start with our red. It's kind of an orangey red. Uh-oh. And this one is clogged. Grab a wipe. Okay. And then we're going to add some gold. kind of a yellowy gold. I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Sorry about that. I should have had one ready. And we're going to do a mop up. And I use recycled paper. Look at how much extra. Because a lot of times what I use these papers for are collage pieces, so it doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. Ooh, and it got too much on there, but that's okay. We'll spray a little less on the next one. All right, let's try this light blue. I don't think my stencil was down well enough. We're going to hold that stencil down this time. All right, so let's grab some of our pink. Okay, and then I'll grab some of the green. Oh yes, please give me a thumbs up. And then we're going to add some of this light blue. It's actually a little bit darker than light blue, but it's beautiful. All right. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to pull this up. Look at how beautiful that is. And then we'll use this to mop up. And I still have plenty more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down one more time. Okay. Now, since this one did not turn out, the orange one didn't turn out like I would have liked it to, we're going to put it back in here. And I have some, what is this called? Pearl copper. It's very dark brown. And we're going to make those filigrees show up. So I'll pull that up. We'll set that to the side. We'll grab one of our mop-up pages. The other thing I use, because my Etsy store have a lot of shipping labels, and when I print them, I end up with this half sheet. Afterwards, I keep these because these make great mop-up pages, and I use them a lot in my mixed media work. So definitely, you know, use up as much as you can. I'm just using a baby wipe. Actually, this is just like a wet wipe. And I just kind of lightly go over the top of them. I don't worry about, I mean, my stencils are dirty. It's fine. I use it for mixed media work anyway. Okay, so I want to kind of show you. This light is so bright when I hold it up tight here. 1 second. Okay. So I'm not sure if you can see how beautiful that is, but it just made a nice tone on tone, and it's shimmery. It's just really pretty. So I love that. That's a great start, a great background for us. Okay. So I want to try just a couple more of those colors where we add 3 of the lighter colors and see if we can get that same sort of look. This time, though, I'm going to use a different stencil. And this is a stencil you can get. It's the Waverly brand. And I like it because it's a small stencil. Okay. So I want to show you another little trick. So notice how this part is showing. If you don't want spray to get on there, all you need to do is line up your stencil, take a piece of scrap paper, and just lay it along the top, okay? Now, Tattered Angels, you guys know I'm messy. I'm messy at painting. I'm messy at Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. My hands will be filthy. This stuff does not come off easily, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this gorgeous spring tulip, this sort of reddish orange. We're going to spray just a little bit of this first. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in with that. This one is strawberry cream. Looks like I need to clean these nozzles. I haven't used them in a while. And see, it's starting to clog up because the mica's in the bottom. That's why you really want to get it shook up, because it will clog if that mica gets in the bottom. Okay. So I grabbed some of that beautiful pink. Now I'm going to come in with the green. Just a little bit of it. And we'll finish with the blue. Okay. So I'm going to carefully pick this up. We'll pull this up, set it to the side for a minute. I definitely want to mop this up. So I'm going to grab another sheet of paper. And this is going to make a beautiful, look at that, you guys. Is that not going to be a gorgeous piece for mixed media? Look at the colors. So sometimes for me, the mop up is just as beautiful as the guest check. Now look at, here's the guest check and it's gorgeous. But boy, is that not beautiful. And we can use this today on another guest check. We can make a tag. We can do a lot of things with it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it on. But I did want to show you the spray box. And I wanted to show you that you can definitely spray these. Questions about... Hi, welcome, Art Therapy. What is your first name, just so I know and I can hopefully refer to you your name? Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Yes, great use. Use the negative space up. Don't waste that. A lot of crafters will waste that, and it's like, to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Now I'm going to keep Meg. Okay. Hi, Meg. I thought maybe it was, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure. Welcome, welcome, Meg. All right. So I'm going to leave these. I always leave these on top of my spray box because a lot of times I'll just go pull a stencil, and we might use a stencil today in our work because we can also stencil with our ink, which is fun as well. Okay, so I'll leave those there. Just kind of set these down here. And then this spray box, I just keep in my drawer, and I use it all the time. And that way it doesn't get stuff all over my work surface. All right, so let me set my Tattered Angels on the floor. And let's get started. And I'm keeping this because I think we might use this today during our crafting. All right. So We're going to let these dry. Gosh, that one really turned out beautiful, didn't it? Oh, love it. That is just perfectly fine to use as a tuck in a journal. You don't have to do anything else to it. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. All right. So, first thing I want to do is I want to show you how to make this tag, this guest check right here. All right. And hi, Lynn, how are you? Welcome. You guys, please give me a thumbs up. Please share the video. Like I said, if you have not joined my Facebook group, please go over and join my Facebook group. Also, my email, if you send me an email and just say hi, that would be great because I will keep you updated on all of my new news. I'm going to be starting to send out newsletters and things like that, kind of letting you guys know what my schedule is. And so if you're excited and you want to keep following me, you know, send me an email. And then I do have an Etsy store. Erica, if you're still on and you would not mind, would you please put my Etsy store link in there? I'd greatly appreciate it, hon. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to make this little beauty right here, which is so cute, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to prop her up right here so you guys can see her. What you're going to do is you're going to take your guest check and you're going to cut off the bottom 1.5 inches. Now, you can do whatever you want. For me and my guest check, that seems like a good spot. Okay. So I cut off 1.5 inches from the bottom. So I now have these two pieces. All right. Now I need to ink around them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink my edges very dark. Okay. Now I do not need to ink this bottom edge right here because it's going to be covered up. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. Oh, I already forgot a step. Before you ink, you do want to cut your corners off. So for those of you who are new, I normally just cut these. Hi, Kathy. Welcome, welcome. I normally just cut them, but if you cut this off, all you need to do, all you need to do is take this piece you cut off, mirror it on the other side, just like this, and snip that end. You know what? I'm going to bring you guys down just a little bit. Whoop. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring the light down. I meant to bring the camera down. There we go. Okay, bring you guys down just a smidge here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now if I don't have everything falling on my head, we'll be all set. All right. So now I'm going to just ink around the edges. Just like that. Okay. Now I want to show you something else. So if you don't have Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, not a big deal. Grab a stencil. And we're going to use that same floral stencil that we were using. Well, if I can find it. I threw them all back in here. Let's see here. Where did you go? Here it is. Use that same floral stencil, okay? And I'm going to lay it on here. And I'm going to take my dauber. And actually, let's try this because I haven't tried this yet. I haven't worked with this much. So I'm just going to use the makeup brush. And I'm going to brush over the stencil. And the harder I rub, the darker it's going to get. And this will give us So I like it. It's giving me a subtle color, but I want it to be darker. So I'm going to come back in and I'm just going to touch it in certain spots just to give it some dimension. All right. So, whoops, this is our background. Isn't that pretty? And now I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to kind of just distress this a little bit. I want a little bit of that green to be just a little more vintage looking. And that's just preference. You know, it doesn't matter. All I'm doing is coming in and just softening these edges a little bit. Okay? Just softening those edges. All right. So now we have to come in here and we have to decide what we want to do here. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to be very selective about what I put down here. And I want this flower. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. I want this flower right here on there. So I'm only going to do that. We're going to leave the rest of it blank. And what I'm doing is, because this is kind of blank over here, that's why I'm putting that flower here. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here, line my flower up how I want it. And I'm going to get that flower on here. And there we go. So we now have something that looks like this. Isn't that cute? Now, I do want this still just a little bit darker. Okay. So at this point, you guys, you can just glue this down. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can just glue this down, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would just glue on here, here, and here. But we're going to make this one a little bit different than the last one. I'm going to grab my hole punch, and I'm going to grab my little eyelet, or my little hole reinforcers. I'm going to punch a hole in there. And we're going to put a reinforcer at the top. And I'm going to put one in the back. Now, we'll get to the back in a minute. But what I want to do is, making a mess here. What I want to do is bring my sewing machine up here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my sewing machine up. And I'm just going to do a straight stitch. So what I do to make sure that it's lined up, you guys, is I start over here. So I'm going to apologize for the noise in advance. We're going to go ahead and get the sewing machine started. I do run it fairly slow. And I don't use a foot pedal for my machine, so I've been sewing a long time. So if I was using a foot pedal, I could set my speed different. But for those of you who didn't know, you don't actually have to use a foot pedal on your sewing machines. You can run it without it. And I just run it with my hands. I've been sewing for a long, long time. I sew quilts. I sew all kinds of things. And one time my foot pedal broke. And I was doing some commission work. And so I was like, well, I've got to figure this out because this has to be done. And so now I don't sew with a foot pedal. So you have that start and stop button. That's what you do. Yeah, I love my Janome. Oh, On the other one, you guys, I actually sewed across here first before I sewed it along the edges. You can do that if you want. I didn't do it on this one because I want to add a little bit of fabric right there. So now, once you do this, now it's just time to embellish. And you can see what we did here is we created a little pocket. So if I get my little embellishment pieces here, we created a little pocket. And so it's adorable. It's this adorable little pocket. Okay, but I want to add a little bit of fabric here. So all I'm going to do is I'm actually working on some new things for my shop, you guys. Some shabby chic grab bags again to do some more of the snippets and things like that. So keep an eye out for that because that's coming. But I'm going to just grab something. Yeah, let's add a little bit of lace to keep with our vintage feel. We're going to add that little bit of lace right there, which is pretty. And then I want to add a little bit of this doily. So in my shabby chic packs, you're going to get pieces of doily. You're going to get all kinds of things. And so you can just continue to add. But the cool thing about adding just a little bit is that it will not bulk up your project. So I also have some pink chiffon that's in there. So I'm going to cut just a little piece of that. So we'll put the pink chiffon down. Then I'm going to put my lace piece down right across here. I'm going to add my little applique there. And in order to use that, you didn't know you could sew on paper? You can sew on paper, but I'm going to warn you, whatever you do, do not use a adhesive that is going to gum up your machine. So if you're going to sew through something and you're using adhesive, you need to use Elmer's school glue. And don't use a lot of it. Otherwise, you will gum up your machine and have a mess. But you can sew on paper. You can sew on just about anything. And then you want to use a multi-purpose needle when you're sewing. Oh, you didn't know you could sew without a foot pedal? Yep, you can. If you have a start and stop button on your machine, you can. And so when I'm doing projects like this, definitely, I mean, when I'm sewing quilts, sometimes I'll throw the pedal back on. I've just gotten so used to not using it. All right, got to grab some bling here. And I'm going to stick with 3 pearls. Those of you who watch me a lot know that I kind of have a signature of 3s on everything. So, and this is just a little card that was given to me by someone in some Happy Mail. It's called the Itty Bitty Greetings. And there's a little envelope, I think, that goes with it. So I'm going to tuck that in there too. Where'd it go? Right here. So I'm going to just tuck that in there. And wouldn't this be an adorable little Happy Mail for somebody? And there is our first guest check altered. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I think it's really cute. Now, if I wanted to, I could add, oops, let's see if I have a piece of, sometimes I have sorry scraps in here too. Oh, let me grab some sorry. I want just a little bit of fiber on here. And there we go. Our first altered guest check is done. Oh, thanks, Erica. I love to send happy mail. I love to receive happy mail too. I don't get much happy mail anymore. I used to get a lot of happy mail and I don't get much anymore. But I love to open the mailbox. Nowadays, we just don't get, I don't know about you guys, but I don't get good mail. And so, I mean, it's mostly junk mail. Once in a while, there'll be a bill in there, but most of my stuff is done electronically now. So most of it is just junk mail, and it's so frustrating. You want me to zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, let's see here. Just 1 second and see if I can adjust that. As I said, I have a brand new camera set up, so it's not as easy to adjust as my previous one. Okay. So let me wind back just a little bit, guys. Bear with me. Is that better? Okay, is that better, you guys? Hopefully it is. Just 1 second, because I need to secure this. You're welcome. I have a different setup, so it's not as easy to zoom in. So I'm just hoping I don't have anything fall down. I'm in the process of getting a radio arm. I forgot what my husband called it, but I need a different type of tripod setup. Okay, let me just, is that okay? There we go. All right, thanks for your patience. Okay, so there's the first one. Now I want to kind of play with this one. I just did some spraying. It has some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist on it. And I want this one to be similar to this one. So we're going to do one like this, but we're going to use this background on this one. So the first thing I want to do, this was stained. I sprayed it with the tea combination, and I'm just going to go around it. So you can see the back is tea dyed. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I think it's cute too. We're going to just add a little bit to it. That's it. I don't want to add too much because I don't want to take away from these cute little butterflies. All right. So because I tea stained it, it's a little bit wrinkled. I'm just flattening it out. You know what? Why don't I just grab a bone folder? Let me use the proper tool. All right. Okay, so what I want to do for this one is I added a little piece of coffee dyed and a little piece of book page. So that's all we're going to do here. And we might add a little bit of fabric. We'll see. So grab some book paper. And I think I have a little scrap of coffee dyed paper in here. Yep, I do. Nope, I don't. That's not it. All right, here we go. So I think this will be very pretty contrast on there. So all I'm going to do is tear down the edge. And then I'm going to tear down the edge again. And I think that's going to be pretty. So I'm just going to catch the edges just a little bit with the tea. I mean, with the vintage photo. And I really didn't need to do that side, but it'll allow me to choose which side I want to use when I'm ready. Then I want to get some of this book page. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to tear it. Absolutely, mailboxes will be obsolete. It's true. I don't know. I sure seem to get a lot of credit card ads and just junk mail. It's crazy how much junk mail we seem to get in this house. Okay, so I need one to be longer than the other, in which case this is not. So I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. And now I'm going to just ink around here. And I'm not being real particularly careful. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. And I do have one of the brand new things I have, and don't feel obligated, but I do want to let people know because some people have been asking me. You are able to send me money now through Super Chat. So if you want to, send $1 or $2, you don't have to, but people have been asking me, oh, when did that come about? Well, I guess I have enough followers now that if I want, you guys can send me a cup of coffee or something like that for teaching you guys something, but don't feel obligated. But if you're wondering now, we do have Super Chat now. Okay. So I feel like I need something over here. And I feel like it needs to be lighter. What do you guys think? Thinking this piece of satin ribbon and then the book page and then this. Just because I need just a little more contrast. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac, and we're going to put this little piece of satin lace down. Well, I don't really need to use this for the book page, but I can. So now I'm going to put my book page down, and I want that edge to show. So I'm sticking that down. I'm going to grab my glue stick. Ooh, look at the back of this. I must have ripped something I shouldn't have. I did. Darn it. That's okay. I like these words. Ooh, we're going to save this for something else. I must have grabbed one I didn't want to grab. Darn it. I did. I grabbed one of my Tiffany stamped ones. I have been dying. I really want this stamp. And my friend, she stamped a few of these and sent them to me in Happy Mail. If anybody has this stamp and wants to do a barter, I would love to barter for some of those. All right, let me see here what I have. Cannot believe I did that. Might have to go over to my bigger bin. You can get it at California Stamp. Yeah, I love it too. The problem is, you guys, I don't use my stamps. I have tons of them and I don't use them. I'm better off to do a barter for someone to stamp some for me and me to send you something else so that I actually use it. I have an entire wall of stamps, an entire box of stamps. I just am not good at using stamps, and I don't know what the deal is, why that is. So a lot of times, like you can see, I bartered for all of these. If someone stamps them for me and I can give you something else, die cuts or fabric or something like that, I just tend to use them a lot more. I don't know. I guess just call me lazy. But I just don't seem to use them if I have them myself. Okay, there's a piece of coffee dyed paper. Oh, that would be wonderful, Rhonda. If you would do that, I would be so grateful. Yeah, send me a message. And if you want something, I would love to barter something with you. Actually, I am off tomorrow because tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. And I have some things that I'll do, of course, to celebrate that. But after that, I am going to be dyeing coffee dyed paper. So I will hopefully have some coffee dyed paper in my shop soon. I usually don't carry it very much in my shop because I like to use it myself. And okay, so here's what we have. All we have is just 3 little layered pieces. And then what I want to do is come in here and find, just like this one, we want to find an image to go with it. So I have this crane that came from a magazine of some sort. Somebody sent me this. And it's been in my box for a long time. And I think that is going to be beautiful on there. And I don't know. I know it doesn't exactly go with butterflies, but it's nature-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and tear around this. Since I tore around everything else, I want to keep the same feel. Ooh, in gold ink? That would be wonderful. I would love it in gold ink. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I just tore around it. Like I said, it just came from a magazine someone sent me. And that little piece of fabric that I had on my desk somewhere, what did I do with that? Darn it, I knew I was going to lose it. Well, maybe we won't be using that little piece of fabric. It'll pop up here somewhere. We'll use this one. So this is a piece of linen. It comes in my linen, or it comes in my shabby chic scrap fabric pack. And linen is extremely expensive if you go to buy it nowadays. That's why I only can use it in small amounts. But sometimes I like to put just a smidge of fabric behind the image. And all I'm going to do is just tack that down. And I want those little frillies to stick out on the edge. Writing is really... Okay. And now we're going to add this little piece right there. Sorry for messing with the lighting, guys. Just trying to get it right. And I'm going to kind of off-center that a little bit. And there is our piece. Isn't that pretty? And it's still very flat, so it will just slide in. So that's similar to this one. All right. So that's our second guess check. Oh, look, there's the piece of fabric I was looking for. Goodness. All right. So let me clear off all of this. I'm going to save this because I probably will use that on something else. And I'm going to save those pieces because I did not mean to rip up that beautifully stamped image on coffee dyed paper. Darn it. Yeah, I think it's kind of pretty. All right, so the next one I want to show you is just a really simple one. So let me grab one of these. And actually, let's use this coffee dyed one. And I'm just going to ink up the edges real quick. And this one is going to be a stamped image fabric. So we're going to do one similar to this. So a stamped image and fabric, and then a little embellishment here at the bottom. So I want to show you this one up close. See, all this is a little piece of lace that's gathered. It has a gathered stitch right here. It kind of looks like a fan. And I did that because I thought it would go with Tiffany. I thought that would be pretty. And you can see I have some sparkly fabric here. And then this is just some vintage bead sack fabric behind it. All right, so we're going to kind of go along the same premises here, although I'm going to darken my edges a little bit more. And I think I want to go with something a little more masculine on this one because it's already dark. And a lot of you are always ask me, you know, what can we do if we don't want girly things? I tend to do a lot of girly things because that's what I like. But that's not everybody's taste. So let's find an image that has a little more masculine feel. How about this car? What do you guys think? Let's do this car, okay? So this is just stamped, and I don't know who stamped this one for me, but once again, this came in Happy Mail. So I'm just going to tear around this vintage car. In fact, this might have been, you know what? This was Carol. Carol stamped these for me. So I'm just going to tear around it. Now, you don't have to tear. If you don't like that look, you know, don't do it. So I'm just going to go around my edges, make them very dark. Okay. Now, I don't want this stark whiteness. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out that brush. I'm going to brush carefully over the image and just kind of make it a little more vintage. So all I did, that's why I like my images on either white or coffee dyed paper. So we've already made that image nice. All right. So I also love music paper. It's one of my favorite things to work with. So I'm going to grab some music paper here. And I work with very old music paper. I have tons and tons and tons of 1800s and 1900s music pages. And you guys can hate me all you want for tearing it up and using it. When I bought the box was so tattered and torn. A lot of them are tattered. So I don't feel bad about using it because it was already pretty beat up. And it's when you start opening them, they start ripping. And so it's not, they're just very brittle. And so they're perfect for, and I love the patina on them. They're perfect for what I do. Okay. So there is some music paper and we're going to just start layering. Okay. Oops. I'm going to leave this here because we might want that for another project. Now I need to bring in, I want to stick with those colors, but I need to bring in just a smidge of color, you guys. So what I want is something like a blue. And I have this gray blue color that I think would work. We're going to bring it in there. I'm not sure how yet, but we're going to bring that color in. And then I also need something that is a little bit, let's get this vintage. This is an old vintage pillowcase piece. And all I'm doing is just kind of moving it around to see how I like it. Now, I'm loving this, except I'm not loving this edge. There's not a much of a difference for me. So that means I got to dig back in my scraps. And what I'm thinking is book page. And I'm thinking some really patinaed book page. So let's grab one of my favorites here. All right. Everybody's so quiet. It must be boring you to death tonight. All right. So I'm going to leave just a little bit of this edge peeking out so I can get the contrast. So I'm going to do that. Whoops. Then I threw that on the floor, you guys. Oh, goodness. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my music paper, which I'm going to bring down here. I don't want it to cover up my numbers. You're taking notes? Oh my goodness. Well, you can replay this as many times as you want. Okay, so I have my music paper there. Then I want to put my fabric up here. Turn this. I want just a little bit of that blue peeking out, not much. And I'm still creating a very flat embellishment. All right, now. Now I'm only going to do the 3 corners. Oops, sorry. And what I just did is I created a little mini pocket. Now you can't put much in there, but you can put something small in there. So I'm going to look for a ticket. Here's a vintage ticket that I believe I got from my friend Erica in some Happy Mail. And look at how cute this is going to look in here. And now we have a more masculine guest check. What do you guys think? So we did the same concept here. We have the fabric. I have the 2 fabric pieces with the image over top and then an embellishment. In this case, my embellishment is the ticket. Okay, so I'm keeping with the same. I'm actually going to tack that down a little bit because that's going to be problematic. But I have to do it very carefully because you're going to see it. There we go. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same when so here's the embellishment. So look, let's look at this again. So I've got 2 pieces of fabric, the stamped image, and an embellishment. Same thing here. 2 pieces of fabric, the blue and the white, the stamped image. Here is my embellishment. My embellishment is interactive. So these page maps for the guest tickets, it's still the same layout. It's the same concept. 2 fabrics, 1 stamped image, 1 embellishment, and you get 2 totally different looks. Okay. All right. Questions? Am I boring you to death yet? All right. So let's do one like this. This one, the elements are a napkin, a die cut, and some fabric scrap. All right. So let me see. I want to make something a little more whimsical, something that's a little more fun. So I have this napkin right here that has paint splatters on it. And I'm loving this green and pink. So I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to save this one. This one's more vintage. I'm going to do it on here. Look at how pretty that is. Oh, love it. Okay. So I don't want to cover the whole thing, but I want to cover quite a bit of it. So what I do is I kind of line it up where I want it to be. And then I fold my napkin back and line it up. Now you can use Mod Podge if you want, or any of those things. And I should have used my permanent glue, so don't use washable glue, you guys. Gotta switch glues here. Get it to my permanent one. Okay. And then I just kind of work in sections so I don't get bubbles. And so then I just work in a couple of strips and I lay it out and I just kind of fuss with it a little bit. And then I do 2 strips and I lay it out. And then up here, you can see I didn't get it down. So I just come up and I just go ahead and add some glue and I get that all up in there. And I have a little hole there, that's fine. Okay. So you can do a couple of things. You can wrap this so that this comes around the other side and you can write on it. It's just, it's perfectly fine if you do that. For this one, I think we will wrap it. I think it'll be pretty, or you can just cut it off. So I think let's wrap it just because I love that sort of paint look. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just working in strips. Oh, I love to craft. I have a whole studio. I used to teach classes in my home. And I don't do it anymore, but I really do miss my buddies. I keep thinking about hosting a retreat. I live in Michigan, so it would of course be in Michigan, but I've been thinking about putting on a large retreat because I think there's just something different about crafting with others around and getting ideas and being able to share and I just think that's so fun. Okay. So there we go. And before we get any farther, I need to wipe my desk because the ink is coming up. Do I have any Michiganders watching right now? I know Luann's a Michigander. We're getting more snow right now. Which is a real bummer. Okay. All right, so we have the napkin. We want to add some fabric. And then we want to add an embellishment. You're in New Hampshire? Oh, cool. So I want to come in here and see if I can find something kind of bright that would go with it. There's something floral. Let's see what else I have. Oh, is my friend Loretta in here tonight? Loretta, I think I have a hummingbird. I don't know if she's in here tonight or not. This is pretty too, but it's the wrong color scheme. Let's see. This would be cute if I was making a coffee journal. Do. So sorry, I keep sniffing, you guys. I still not 100%. Here's one of my handmade dresses. I wouldn't put it on there, but oh, hummingbirds, where did you go? I need to sort this. This container is getting out of control here. But I am bound and determined to use this up, you guys. That's why we're doing Craft With Me Sundays. Here we go. I knew I had some hummingbirds in here. I don't think Loretta's in here tonight. Is she? I'm in Midland, Michigan. Kenna, are you from Michigan? So it's right in the middle of the mitten, pretty much, which is why I thought it would be great for me to host a retreat here in Michigan, because I'm basically just right smack in the middle of everything. So okay, so you're really not too far from me then. All right, well, let's use this hummingbird because I have it. And the colors, look, the colors work. This little hummingbird is from Calico Collage. And Norella makes some beautiful digitals. If you like digitals or printables, check out Calico Collage, because her stuff is just amazing, you guys. Her colors and I mean, this is just on cheap copy paper. That's what I copied it on. And I copied it on, the lowest grade ink possible. And it's still, you can see every little detail of that hummingbird. Look at that. And look at how pretty she's going to be on here. Oh, love it. Okay. Now we need a little bit of fabric because we're gonna stick with the same design as this one. So we have embellishment, napkin, fabric. So I don't know. I kind of think that this needs to be my fabric piece. It's a piece of lace. What do you think? You guys like the lace? Bring it up a little bit here. Do you like the lace on there? Or let's see what else we can find. We have some pink chiffon. Ooh, this would be pretty. Hold on, hold on. Look at this glittery piece. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see it. See that sparkle? Look at that. I know you guys, somebody said something darker, but I don't know. I love that sparkle. Digging here in my scrap bin, so. Oops. You like the sparkle? Okay, what if we do this and this and this? I don't know. I really, if I could find something blue, I really don't want to, I'm trying to just work with all the scraps I have on my desk. I'm almost thinking something blue to kind of pull a little bit of that blue out. Might be pretty. What do you think? It's not quite that blue though. Which one? Do you want to go with just the sparkle, the pink and sparkle, or the blue and sparkle? I'll let you guys choose. A is just the sparkle. B is the pink and sparkle. And C is going to be the blue and sparkle. You guys choose. Give me a letter. Just sparkle, sparkle in the mauve, or sparkle in the blue. A, B, or C. I'm going to wake you guys up one way or another. All right, we have one vote for B. And I have a vote for A. All right, where's my voters? Come on, guys. Kathy said B, so I've got 2 votes for B. There's only 3 of you, but there's lots of us in here. A is just the sparkle. B is the mauve in the sparkle. C is the blue in the sparkle. Which one? While you guys are doing that, I'm going to run and grab a drink real quick. I'm starting to get a sore throat. All right, what'd you guys come up with while I was gone? No one else voted? You kidding me? Okay, thank you, Teresa. Teresa said B. All right, well, I guess everybody else is sleeping or watching football, so we'll go with B. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add I know if I did, teal would be much better. The problem is I don't want to go into, if I wasn't doing this online, I'd probably run downstairs to my fabric studio and I would grab a piece of teal, but we'll just do what we have. Remember, we're supposed to be using up scraps this year, so we'll use up the scraps. Oh, the sparkle, I love it. This sparkle came from my Winter Wonderland kit that I had this year. Some of you bought that kit. Oh, I love it. And in that kit, I taught you how to do some embroidery for your embellishments. That was the free tutorial that came when you purchased the kit. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to ink just a little bit around the edges, not a lot, just a little bit. And I'm not going to do it as dark as I had been doing it on the other ones. And I will ink right on this napkin. It will ink just fine. So I'm just going to ink around this. Just like I did before, I'm going to grab that makeup brush and I'm just going to do a little light distressing. Okay. And it looks like I got some glue on there. So what I'm going to do is just take all I did, you guys, if you have glue stick on there and you have a baby wipe, you got to work fast, but you can just wipe fast. Look at that. It pulled it right off. Welcome, Liz. All right. And then because I have this back, I'm not going to do much on the back, but I do want to do just a smidge of inking. So I'm just going to go around the edge, ink the edge. And this one is in honor of my friend Loretta. And I'm not sure Loretta's on here, but she would love this one. I'm just gonna, there we go. Look at that. Oh, I love that sparkle. It just reminds me of their wings. Gosh, I love that one. Okay. Moving on. Let's get this stuff out of the way. All right, so the next one I want to show you is going to be one where we use a liner, a cupcake liner. And you can use cupcake liners a couple different ways. Now, let's go to our Christmas ones so I can kind of show you what I did with these. Now, these cupcake liners were liners that were small, those small cupcake liners. And I made a rosette with this one. And then I put this ornament type thing in the front. Did a rosette with this one. And this one, I just used a die cut. This one I did halfway around. And the reason why is because you now create a tuck spot. So you can tuck ephemera in there on both sides, which is nice. So you can do that along the edge. That's this one too. And this one I just did a little paper banner and just stapled it. So that was easy. Okay. This one though, I folded so that you could have an upper corner tuck. So you could tuck something up in there like that. Okay. So you can do a variety of things. I like to typically stick with a white liner. And for this one, we're going to change it up a little bit. So for this one right here, you guys, I just used a little bit of ink and I just rubbed it over. But I want to use some stamping on this. So I'm going to grab one of my stamps that I said I never use. And I have this one, which gives a nice pattern. But I also have these polka dots, and I love polka dots. And I think this polka dot will pretty much do, yeah, let's do this one. So we're going to use this polka dot stamp. And I'm going to ink it up with the Tim Holtz. And I'm not a professional stamper by any means, you guys. So I know I'm not doing this right. That's okay. All right. So let's see. How do I want to do this? Bear with me. Told you I'm not professional. You know what, Nina? We have not done, you and I have not done an exchange in a long time. I think it's time for us to do another exchange. What do you think? Nina, we used to do a lot of exchanging of embellishments and things. If you're up for it, I would love to do it. All right, so it didn't work like I thought it would. That's okay. All I did is give it some texture. I think it's because I should have had something softer underneath here. This mat is not ideal for stamping on. All right, so let's clean this up. Put my stamp away. And now what I want to do is I want to stamp this butterfly on here. I don't know what's going to happen, you guys. I'm just trialing this with all of you here watching me. I'm just using Memento's Tuxedo ink. And this is one of my favorite stamps. I don't know why I don't use it more often. I need to stamp it and cut out ephemera with it because it's a great ephemera stamp. I'm just looking for a scrap piece of paper. All right. So yeah, Nina, if you'd like to do some more swaps or some Happy Mail, I would love to do some Happy Mail. All right, so now what I have is something that looks like this. What do you guys think? Kind of see where I'm going? Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. Teresa, I would love some napkins. And if you would like something else, send me an email. I'm going to put my name in here. If you guys want to do some Happy Mail exchanges, send me an email. And I would be happy to do that. Okay, so we created some texture. It's still pretty white. It's still pretty stark white. So I'm going to grab my spray box. And I'm just going to, I just want to brighten this up just a smidge. So I'm going to grab this Spring Sunshine. It's sort of a yellow. And we just took down that white starkness a little bit. And this will dry with a gorgeous, gorgeous shimmer. So I'm going to let this dry. I probably put a little too much Tattered Angels on here because these are very thin, but that's okay. Look at how pretty that is. Wow, that could just be an embellishment by itself. All right, we're going to let that dry. And while that's drying, we're going to start working on our guest check. Okay, so I'm going to set this up here, let that dry. Teresa, what color fabric? Not sure what you're asking, Teresa. You're saying what color fabric. I'm not sure what color fabric you're referring to. I'm almost thinking this would be pretty on here. It would cover up too much. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a tuck when this dries. So we're going to kind of let that dry, but I'm going to do a little bit of collaging on here because I think that'll be pretty. And since I already ruined this stamp, I'm really disappointed about because I didn't have very many of these. I'm going to go ahead and start making a collage on here. And I have another idea. So we're going to add, so I was going to make one like this, but see, then inspiration took over and you guys get what happens to me when I get going on these. So I apologize that I'm not following exactly the same way. Hopefully you won't be mad at me, but I just had another idea. Hi, Tanya. Welcome. I don't know. I really like that, you guys. What I can't decide is, do I want it to, I don't think I want it to go all the way over in the back. I just want it to go part way. So we're going to glue this to this. It's still a little bit damp. I should not be playing with it this much, as damp as it is, but. And let me show you what my idea is. Oh, and I have totally made a mess of my desk. I swear I'm the only crafter that in a matter of 1 hour can just totally make a mess. I'm grabbing my sewing machine. I'm going to put it on a zigzag stitch. And there we go. There is another tag. Now, I could glue that down if I wanted to, or when it dries, it's going to get a little stiffer, and I'll be able to use it to tuck more items in if I want to. What do you think? Because it's still pretty wet. So we have been on here for a while, you guys. We've been on here for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So let's kind of look at what we made. We did a lot of talking. So we made all of these, which I'm not going to do much. I think I'm just going to add some fabric to the top of this one. Because I don't think it needs much. I think it just needs a little bit of fabric at the top, or maybe a little bit of lace. I don't like that. We just need a little something at the top of this one because it's pretty as it is. I don't want to add a whole bunch of, oh, here's some. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, I'll pull something out of my stash, but I'm going to only add just something very small to this one. This one right here is really pretty. This one I'm going to leave as is. This one, we could just simply add the stamp on it, which I think would be gorgeous. I think that's what we'll do, and we'll call this one done. So we can just simply add a stamp. And then you have writing room here and writing room on the back, or you could line this with coffee dyed paper, or I could take this and I could line this on the back and have this gorgeous one. We will do one more because I did want to use this up. And then I promise I'll let you all go. So I love this that we ended up with. A little longer than I normally go on Sunday, so I'm sorry, guys. All right, so I'm just going to ink this just a little bit, not much. And all we're going to do on this one is we're just going to make a journal card. Then I'm just going to ink around it. And sometimes when I make these to put in my stash, I'll leave them really plain like this because I can always put an embellishment on it if I want to later. So like, for example, see this little guy peeking out here. I can always come in and add a little butterfly later if I wanted to. So these are our guest checks. I hope you like them. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or send me a message below and I'd be happy to answer them. As I said, if you are not following me on my Facebook channel, which is Rachel Super Cute Creations, please do. If you would like to send me an email, my email address is in there. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Just a reminder, this Wednesday, on my YouTube channel, I will be doing stenciling techniques with acrylic paints. So stenciling techniques with acrylic paints. So if you would like to come over and watch, we'll have another live event, and those events start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and bye, everybody.